Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of DDT Daily Diet Tips. I'm your host Marwan. If you're new to my channel, I'm a certified diet and wellness coach. I help people reverse type 2 diabetes and obesity using diet and lifestyle improvements. So, on today's episode of DDT, we're going to talk about why calorie counting and deficit is the biggest lie. Calorie counting and deficit is the biggest scam since the early 90s. Watch this video till the end and you will learn 6 reasons why calorie counting is So a little bit of history background. The person responsible for popularizing this calorie counting and deficit theory was by an American physician by the name of Dr. Lulu Hunt Peters, who published her best-selling book called Diet and Health with Key to the Calories in 1918. Yeah. So next time you hear a fitness influencer or a doctor that talks about calorie counting and deficit, you can give them the finger, right? Because yes, right? And so why is it being popularized? Because it's easy to understand and confuse you into buying low-calorie and low-fat products. So now coming to the main topic, right? The 6 reasons why calorie counting and calorie deficit is right? So reason number 1, calorie counting is a physics theory based on the laws of thermodynamics. So the principle is the total energy released when food is completely burned is captured and measured by the temperature change in a surrounding water bath, right? You can refer to the diagram. Anyway, so energy released by food is not equivalent to energy stored by the body. For example, take 100 calories of broccoli and 100 calories of rice. In the lab, both produces the exact equal amount of energy. However, when it enters the body, the calorie from the broccoli will not make you fat, but the calorie from the rice might. Now, reason number 2, calorie counting does not differentiate between the different types of calorie, only the volume. So you have to understand that not all calories lead to weight gain. Only calories that spike the blood glucose and triggers our body to produce insulin to convert the excess sugar into fat. So food is made up of macro and micronutrients, right? So micronutrients are things like your vitamins and your minerals, right? And then you have your macronutrients, right? And there are only 3 types of macronutrients, which is protein, fat, and carbs. So when I say carbs, that includes carbohydrates and sugar, right? Of the 3 types of macronutrient, only the carbs triggers the insulin response, right? So if you were to eat protein and fat, it will not increase the blood glucose level in your blood, right? Hence, not triggering your pancreas to release insulin, because insulin is the one hormone that makes you fat. It converts excess sugar into fat, right? So if you take 100 calorie of fat, 100 calorie of protein, and 100 calorie of carbs, right? It could be sugar, it could be rice. Only the calories from the carbs will make you fat, right? So now reason number 3, individual absorption is different for people due to factors like genetics, insulin resistance, the speed we eat, what we do after we eat, how much we chew, the order of food that we eat. Hence, 2 different people can be eating the exact same thing, yet one person can keep on gaining weight, but the other person does not. So yeah, this explains that. Whereas the calorie counting and calorie deficit theory does not. Now, reason number 4, energy expenditure is inaccurate. It's just an estimation based on your heart rate, workout duration, your height, and your weight, right? So you get those like sports watches where when you do activities like walking or exercising, it measures the amount of calories that you burn. Again, that is just an estimation. It's not an exact science. There's no you can't measure it through a watch just like that. So when people do the calorie counting theory, right, calorie deficit theory, they take in, they calculate the amount of food that they consume, right, and then they take the amount of energy that they release through exercises, right? So energy release minus energy consumed equals to either you are in a calorie deficit or calorie increase. Yeah, so it's inaccurate. Yeah, so stop doing it, right? Now, reason number 5, calorie counting fails to account for the quality of calories, right? Calorie counting is all just about the volume, right? When there are more factors that play into hand when it comes to this, right? So for example, 100 calorie of burger meat is not similar to 100 calorie of a ribeye steak, right? Both could be from beef, but one is natural whole food, the other one is ultra processed food. So the quality of the calorie that you consume matters more than the volume itself, right? And finally, reason number 6, calorie counting does not account for sugars absorbed by the liver. For example, fructose, right? Let me just break it down to you. So like, for example, when you eat a mango consists of 3 different types of sugar. You have sucrose, glucose, and fructose, right? So the glucose will give a straight impact to your blood glucose, right? Your blood glucose levels will increase. However, the fructose in the mango will not have a 1-to-1 correlation and direct impact, because fructose is digested in the liver, which is converted into glycogen and also glucose again. Hence, it will still increase the blood glucose, but at a much later stage and in a much smaller amount, right? Then you have sucrose. Well, so what is sucrose? Sucrose is a disaccharide, right? It's basically a combination of one molecule of glucose and one molecule of fructose. So that's what fructose is. Yeah. So if you don't believe me, right, you can look at some types of diets that does not use this calorie counting, calorie deficit theory. For example, the ketogenic diet or intermittent fasting. These 2 diets are very powerful when it comes to weight loss and reversing type 2 diabetes. Hence why I always recommend these 2 types of diets for my clients, and all of them have shown amazing results, right? We don't do calorie counting. So instead of counting your calories, you can count the number of meals you have in a day. That's a better estimation of how much you should eat, how much you should not eat, right? So count the number of meals you eat in a day. Could be 3, could be 2, could be 1, right? No snacking in between. And then you can also measure the weight of the types of food that you eat. Yeah, or you can also use the basic rule of thumb that dietitians and nutritionists always use, meaning in one plate when you have your dinner, right? Make sure half of it is vegetable, quarter of it is protein, and quarter of it is carb, right? Quarter, half. Or it could also be half of it is carbs, quarter protein, quarter vegetables. That also works, right? It depends on what your goal is. If you want to lose weight, reduce the carbs. If you want to gain muscles, increase your protein. So it's better to count the amount of food that you eat rather than the calories. Yeah. So yeah, make sure you hit like, subscribe, and share to the channel if you're looking for resources to lose weight and reverse type 2 diabetes. And I'll see you again on the next episode. And don't forget to like and share the video.